Yo, my guys, what's good? Just out here in Warsaw, Poland right now. Been here for about a week. Got another couple of days in this hotel with a beautiful view. Let me show you. You got all of this old, I'm in the old town, so I got all of this old shit. It's pretty decent, to be honest. Very good switch up from the bar. I got a nice little suite going on. Was just crushing some work over there. Wasn't doing too much work at this desk. It's more for the missus. We got a nice little room going on, bathroom, whatever. You guys get the gist of things. But I wanted to make this video not to fucking show you my suite, because none of you guys give a fuck about that, to be honest. I want to make this video to actually talk about something which I have never actually spoken about before, and I feel like it's something which every single person in the UK, maybe in Europe, maybe in America, maybe in the world would relate to and actually understand and be able to take away some valuable lessons from this story. Because it's something which almost everyone does, is when they grow up, they have these dreams. They have these ideas, they have these plans, and they give, everything to those plans, but for 99% of the people, it's never going to work out and it's a dead road, and they don't actually realize this. I spent years chasing this one thing, becoming an athlete, whether it was in football, whether it was with tennis, whether it was with fucking rugby, whether it was with athletics. I spent fucking hours and hours and hours and hours and hours doing sports. Now, do I regret doing sports, even though I'm not a professional athlete now? Completely not. It's been one of the main factors as to why I've been able to do very, very well with business, because I've been able to develop many skills such as communication, teamwork, managing people, strategy, pushing through tough times, giving it extra than the competition. It's helped me with a lot of skills, and I'm sure a lot of people that maybe have a successful business now that used to play sports will say the same. But it also kind of distracted me for a long time. I got to the point where, I've got the value that I needed to from the sports, but I was still there wasting hours and hours and hours. And one of the reasons why, or the reason why I actually done well with business is because I stopped playing sports completely. It was in 2022. I broke my big toe here, and I could never recover from it. And obviously I was playing football at the time, looking to push through into some big teams, some big leagues, and obviously putting a lot of effort into my training, into the studying, and I wanted to become a professional footballer. But the injury just wouldn't allow me to even get 90 minutes in without absolutely tearing up my foot. So at the time, I thought, fuck, like, that's it. I'm never going to play football again. But little did I know that it was one of the biggest blessings that has ever happened in my life, because now it gave me the opportunity to go absolutely all in. Absolutely all in. Because, when you're playing football, you're giving up your Saturday. You're giving up at least 2 to 3 nights a week for training. And once you come back from work and you go training, when you come back home, you ain't got no energy to be able to go run up a biz, because the energy you need to run up a biz when you're starting at square one is a lot. You need to put in a lot of hours, a lot of dedication. Over the last couple of weeks, my business is very much hands off right now. I haven't done too much because I've been traveling. I've been scheming, and I've just been planning for the weeks to come. But when I go back to Dubai and I get in that seat, obviously we're going to put in some insane amount of hours. However, what I'm trying to say is, when you're in that starting phase, you cannot afford to just work 2 to 3 hours a day. You need to be working 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day at least. And this is if you have another job too. And then on those days that you have spare, obviously you can lock in for those big 10, 12, 14-hour days, which are very much needed if you're starting from scratch. But if you're running a sport, it's absolutely impossible to keep that together, because if you have a job, if you have a team, some people even play multiple sports with different teams. There's no way that you're going to have the amount of time in the day in order to push through and start your biz. So kind of the point of this video, and what I'll get onto is the story, is if you're running up sports right now, maybe you're 21 years old, maybe you're 19, maybe you're 20, and you're not going to make it pro. I would very much highly suggest, maybe you want to play for fun, do a little bit of five-a-side with the boys on a Thursday night or something like that. But don't dedicate your whole fucking life, your whole week, to a bunch of dickheads in a changing room that wouldn't even give a fuck if you passed away tomorrow. Like, you're not going to become pro. The guys in that changing room aren't your fucking friends. Just run up a business and provide for your family, because you can do it. Anyone that can perform in sports can perform in business. It's the same sort of skill sets, and they correlate completely. Sports, a lot of you guys don't know, it teaches you so much about discipline. When you get home from work, when you get home from school, or maybe it's early in the morning and you're getting a session in before work or school, you're not feeling motivated. That's all discipline. Sports teaches you so much about discipline, and that is one of the key mental components to running up a business in the early stage. You need to stay disciplined and put in the hours, even when no one's watching, because every single session counts, whether that's on the field, whether that's on the pitch, or whether that's at the desk. Every single session counts, and discipline is completely key. And the same can sort of be blended in when we're talking about, being obsessed with marginal gains. People that are athletes, people that are on the pitch, people that take their sports professionally, they're thinking about everything, even just in regards to their agility or maybe their diet or maybe the recovery that they're getting. And they're always looking to try and get 1% better in every single area, because all of those margins compound into becoming a better athlete, into performing better on the pitch, and into getting more pay from your club that you're paying for. Now, this is the same with business. Every single 1% counts, whether that's your recovery, whether that's with your thinking, whether that's with, the systems that you're building, whether that's with your team, whether that's with your sales, your marketing. You're always looking to get 1% better. And this is why it correlates so well with sports. It never ends. There's always more you can do. There's always more you can improve. The best football players in the world right now and the best businessmen in the world, they're not settled thinking they've completed the game. Every single day they're waking up knowing they can do more, knowing they can get 1% better, and knowing there's more to achieve. There's more titles to win. There's more Premier Leagues to win. There's more Champions Leagues to win. There's more World Cups to win. There's more fucking millions to be made. There's more awards to win in business. There's so much more to do at all times. And that's why the two correlate so well, giving you that never finish mentality. For me, one of the main things was actually, I use it a lot more now, as my communication. So my communication on the pitch when I was playing football, I was always a captain. I was always the captain in the teams that I played for, and that enabled me to use my communication skills. Some people I needed to pick up. Some people I needed to be a bit more harsh on them. I like to reward people and really praise their performance if they're doing a good job, if they put in a good performance on the pitch. And just the same way, I will tear you down and really give it to you if you've been slacking, if you weren't putting 100% in, or if you caused, an error that maybe led us to lose the game because of your own fault. I was always that guy on the pitch that would be the loudest. You'd hear me, like, always bullying the competition, always fucking bringing up my team. And that's exactly what's happened when I've come over to business now. If one of my employees is slacking, I let them know. I let them know in a way which is tailored to their personality, which I know they will receive it in the right way, and it will contribute to a positive attribution to those guys in the future for the business. And this is the same, if someone is doing a good job. Some people might like to be praised silently. Some people might like to be praised publicly. Some people might be praised with different ways. They might like bonuses, like rewards. Some people might like days off. There's loads of different ways in which people like to be praised and like to be fucking given some criticism. And you have to know how to deal with these people individually. Sir Alex Ferguson was amazing at this, apparently, with the way that he would manage all of the different players in his team and treat people differently, letting some players like Ronaldo go on, take time off, for example, when his father died, or letting different things like this slip in the changing room. But that wasn't him actually letting things slip. This was him just knowing people's personalities and knowing how he's going to get the best out of every single player on the team. And this is the exact sort of framework that I've taken from the years of experience from playing sports. I've been playing sports since I was like 5 years old. So by the time I hang up the fucking boots, I'd had at least 15 years of experience in communicating and knowing how people's brain works in competition on the field. And that's what I've been able to take forward when we're talking about competition on the online space. Another thing which really stuck with me, and I'll tell you guys a story about this one. It's the year, maybe it's 2021 or maybe it's 2020. And, my team, this was my Sunday team. So I had like a midweek team, which was more serious, and I had just like a Sunday team where I fucked about with. We played. It was in the county cup. It was the semi-final, so all the best teams in the county, including the serious ones, to be honest. But somehow my Sunday team managed to make it to the semi-final, and we was playing. It was Hemel Hempstead EGA or some shit like that. If you're from the UK, maybe you know what that means. But this team had a lot of good players, and some of them are actually professional today. Like, some of the players on the team we was opposing have professional contracts and play for like some big clubs today. None of the people on my team did. And But going into that game, you know, a couple players on my team, I heard them saying how like we were probably going to lose, we're probably going to get smoked. I had to talk to them privately. Didn't want to destroy them in front of, you know, the rest of the fucking changing room when I heard them talking about that. And I managed to lift their spirits up. And single-handedly, I managed to lift up the spirits of the whole team and really make us believe that we could actually win that game before we actually got on the pitch. I delivered an amazing speech. I got everyone fucking gassed up. And we went on to go 1-0 up in like the first 5 minutes. And that positive energy that I was putting out into the team, into the changing room, actually making sure that I'm not just saying things, I'm making sure they feel what I'm saying. And this enabled us to have that energy and go on to score very early on in the game. And that kind of just solidified everything and it took us into more momentum. Now, why am I talking about this? It's because when you're starting out a business, you're going to be competing with people like me. If you want to start OnlyFans agency today, you're competing with people like me. You're competing with people that have 3 years experience. Maybe they're better than you. Maybe they have better models than you. Maybe they have better strategies than you. Maybe they have a bigger team than you. Maybe they know more than you. Maybe they can think faster than you. Maybe they can work harder than you. All of these different things, you're going to face a lot of people like this. There's a lot of competition. So if you're starting out and you literally have zero confidence and you don't even think you're going to be able to compete with the people that have been in the industry for a long time, and maybe they're a bit more talented, experienced, and have, you know, more skills and more team than you, then how are you going to compete? You have to have that confidence. You have to work harder. You have to work smarter. You have to do more originally. I managed to catch up. You know, last night I had dinner with a gentleman from Warsaw who, when I joined and I first started this business, he was already making 100K a month. Already making 100K per month. Now we're enjoying nice dinner in Warsaw together. You know, if I didn't have the confidence that I'd be able to go and, you know, do as good as these people, let alone do maybe better than them in certain occasions, and then obviously get to that level where I can travel around, get a nice, you know, 5-star hotel, like the best hotel in the city, in the best suite, and go out for nice steak dinners like it's nothing, then I wouldn't have been able to do it. You have to have the confidence, you have to have the belief, but you have to have the work rate to back it. If I spoke all of that stuff in the changing room, got everyone gassed up, got everyone ready to play, and then I just didn't even deliver on the pitch, it would be for nothing. If you're there getting motivated, watching a podcast, watching this YouTube video now, thinking, yeah, if Tom's right, let me fucking do it. I'm good at sports. I'm a captain for my team. I can take this stuff into business. But then you sit at the desk and you don't even portray those same energy. You don't let it flow into all of the actions that you're taking in regards to your business, then it's never going to happen. You have to match it with tenacity, with energy, with everything that's going on in your brain. You have to let it flow out onto your work and let it be seen by other people, because maybe you can see it, maybe you think you're doing a good job, but you need to let everyone know what you're fucking doing, because that's when you're going to make moves in the industry, and that's when you're going to maybe make a lot of inbound leads and stuff like that. But let me not get too technical with it. I just want to let you know that, you know, confidence is key, but not just the confidence, but actually standing up to the occasion, knowing that you have a big task in front of you and getting the job done regardless, no matter who the competition is, no matter who you're facing, and no matter who's on your team. When you first start, you're not going to have the most talented VAs. You're not going to be able to hire, you know, VAs like I have. You're not going to get the best, most talented employees straight away or the best models straight away. You're going to have to work with what you've got. Like in that situation, in that game, we had to work with what we've got. We didn't have players that were going to be professional. We didn't have, you know, wingers that could cut in from the left and curl it in the top corner every time. We had to work with what we've got. We had to work as a team. We had to understand everyone's strengths, everyone's weaknesses, and how we can make up for it in certain areas, and how we can work harder than the competition. And that's how we done it in that game, and that's how we won that county cup that year as one of the biggest underdogs in the whole competition. You know, you'll see it sometimes, you know, with Leicester when they won the league, with other teams when they won the league. Maybe some teams get promoted. You know, you see it sometimes, rarely in sports. And this is why I love sports so much. Some people say watching sports is a waste of time. I don't watch movies too much. I don't like the Netflix shows, but I love sports. You know, very soon I'm going to go watch Djokovic versus Sinner. I love fucking sports. Sinner's 1 year older than me, and my man's number one in the world tennis. I like watching people that are fucking performing so high and just looking at how locked in they are and just getting motivated by that shit. That's why I get motivated by it, because I see that these guys were once in the same position as me, and look at where they are now on the grand stage, number one in the world, beating legends. You know, Sinner will probably win today. He's going to beat a legend in Novak Djokovic. Like, how does that not motivate you to be in your position now and scale up and then beat the OFM legends, the legends that are running the industry right now. You can do the exact same thing. Business and sport correlates entirely. Another thing which is absolutely essential is being coachable. You know, if you're playing football, for example, I might as well just stick to the football term. And you know you're lacking in a few areas, but you're not coachable because you don't want to take on the advice. You think you're perfect already. You don't want other people's opinions, even if it comes from someone maybe better than you or someone worse than you. Sometimes people that aren't as good at you will give you the advice that you need because they'll be able to see things from a different perspective as you. If you're not coachable and willing to take on advice from anyone, then you're not going to make it. And it's the same with business. I listen to people's advice whether they make more than me or less than me. I always have my ears open and I'm willing to see if there's any value coming out of that conversation. You have to be coachable. Some people will make 5K a month, 10K a month online, more than they could have ever dreamed of making. And they think their job is done. They think the game's done. They don't think they need to reinvest into more mentorships. They don't think they need to travel to new cities and meet new people. And that's why they stay stagnant. And that's why those people that had that mentality when I first started are now nowhere to be seen. You know, some of them are waiting tables, I've heard. It's a shame, you know, because if they only just met with more people, joined a couple more groups, they would have the strategies that they need in order to stay relevant. You have to stay relevant. You're not going to stay relevant doing your own research online every day. You need not just your research, but the research of 200, 300 other people in order to stay relevant in their game and actually take advantage of certain trends and things that come up. Make sure that you're a coachable person. That means dropping your ego. That means being humble. That means having humility. That means having a lot of stuff, which is exactly what you need in sports. You know, if you're in the changing room and you make a mistake and your coach fucking shouts at you, you're going to have to be humble in that moment. You're going to have humility. You're going to have to not have that, oh, fuck this guy sort of mindset and actually take in what he's saying because he's saying it for a reason. And it's the same with business. It's the same with stuff when you make mistakes, when you're listening to feedback from your team. You know, some people treat their VAs and their team like they're pieces of shit. I listen to everyone's fucking feedback. I'm always asking my every single employee, every single model for feedback on the management that they're getting. And that's why we're able to keep stepping up the standard, providing a better experience for our team, providing a better experience for our clients. And that's why, in result of that, the numbers only keep going up. If you've played any serious sport, or maybe you've played even just like video games online, I'm sure you can probably take the same lessons and relate to what I'm saying in regards to that as well. You have all the characteristics you need in order to become a big, high level businessman, bringing in hundreds of thousands of dollars every single month. And that might seem like a lot if you're at square one right now, or maybe you're at like 50K a month and it seems sort of achievable if you do a few things. It's very, 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 very achievable. And $100,000 isn't actually a lot of money to be making every month. You know, only reason I bring it down and sort of dumb it down to that level is because if I said, you know, you can make millions and tens of millions, like a lot of people do, it would seem too unachievable for you guys. But $100,000 a month is very achievable within 90 days. That's what I managed to do 2 years ago. And now you have way more strategies, way more people, better teams, more experienced employees. And we're talking about OFM, OnlyFans Management, the business that I'm in. Yo, guys, if you related and you're just struggling to find the direction for you and maybe the industry for you to jump into, hit me up. I've got a link below. You can book in a call. I've got my Telegram below where you can join and keep up to date with me. It's the place where I'm most active. I'm not really active on social media. If you DM me on IG, I probably won't reply. If you DM me on Telegram, I'm 100% going to reply. And I've also got my channel there where you can keep up to date with the daily stuff. I give lots of tips about OFM and, you know, how I've started, scaled. And I've also got a free PDF available on there as well if you want to learn about how you can recruit your first model today and maybe start implementing all of the skills that you've learned from sports and your years of experience into a new industry where you can start and scale to, you know, over 100K per month within about 90 days. So I've got my free training there. You can go and access it. But it's been a good time. It's been me. And take care, guys. I'm going to go enjoy the city of Warsaw for a bit.